soul saving that was done at church, Christ our Redeemer, for many young people, many young women, was their first introduction to God. What an introduction it was. Janelle Henderson is an attorney and an entrepreneur. When you plant seeds in these young people, you will see the fruit in so many different ways. If they're a lawyer and you have a legal question about your church, you call them and they'll work it out. Whatever you need, they'll be able to give back to the church and they will remember. This is them doing Siamba right here. So I want to just open the floor for any questions you might have. And if you ever need a resource, if you're thinking about creating a campus ministry on campus, please call me. I'd love to work with you, because when I first went to ministry, there weren't many appointments for women in local churches. And so I had to figure out a way to make my work in higher education ministry. So my work in higher education became my ministry. And so I teach religion in the religion department on the campus, but I'm also the chief diversity officer. And that, making sure that students are in an inclusive space, is ministry in itself. So if you have any questions about the experience of campus ministry or anything that I've talked about, I'd love to answer any questions you might have. Yes?
I actually have 2 questions and 1 comment.
Oh, you're in Bethel? Yeah.
I am.
Yes.
So this October 13th, we are actually hosting Sunday service for a homecoming for EMU. Right? So this year, they probably enrolled more African American students than they ever have. And they are getting together on that day. It wasn't until you started talking that I realized this is really an opportunity for me to kind of grab hold of some students. So just thinking about, this is their first time coming to our church. I have no idea who they are. What would you recommend I do on that day? They're coming to do our whole Sunday service.
Oh, they're going to do it for you?
Yes, they're going to do the whole
When you first, you need to figure out what you need to know what they're going to do before.
Well, I know what they're going to do. What I'm saying is, what things do you recommend I do so that it's not they came to the service, had a great time, worship, and I don't get them to come back.
Well, I think if they come to the service and you feed them, and they have,
so I need a donation.
You got to feed them, and you feed them, and you let them know that it's a safe space, it's a welcoming space. The members are excited about them being there. They'll come back. When I was pastoring Bethel, Harrisonburg, we had students from EMU there. We had students from James Madison there. But you've got to find ways to really, really affirm what they're doing in the life of the church. Another thing that we did in Harrisonburg when I was there, and we had a large, Nikki, whose mom goes here, Sylvia's daughter, Nikki, she was very active. We had sorority Sundays. The AKAs had a Sunday. The Omegas painted Bethel for me. The Omegas painted Bethel for me. So we had AKAs. We even had the Deltas on Sunday too. We did. So we invited the different groups on campus. We also had a musician from the music school at James Madison. So I would really get some inroads into James Madison. You have an in with Celeste, because I think Celeste is an EMU, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's important to connect with the multicultural affairs offices on the various campuses, because they often want some campus, some local resources. So connect with the minority offices on campus. But Celeste will be there for that service.
Yes.
She's the connect for you.
Yeah, I was just texting her while we were talking.
She's the connect.
Okay.
She's on campus. She knows them. She's the connect.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
If we have a copy of that PowerPoint, is that possible?
You can have a copy, a version of it. I need to prove it. Yes. yes. Yeah. I'm going to create a manual when my life gets a little bit slow, when things go a little slower. I'm going to create a manual for campus ministry, because when I first started, I didn't really have much to work with. And a lot of the things that are written for majority congregations don't really relate to how we work with our children. Yes. How did I say that gingerly? Did I say that gingerly? I did. Are there any other questions? Oh, I know what. So you could do me a favor. If you have high school seniors who want to go to school in Virginia, and you want them to be connected to a church, I have admissions materials for you for Mary Baldwin. And I'm bringing that because it's so much easier for us when we have some students who are AME students who are not going to freak out when they have to do communion and hear all those scriptures and say, what is that all about? Or that they know what the call to worship is, or they understand, or we could make them stewards immediately, or stewardesses immediately. So if you have high school students that, and Mary Baldwin is for men and women now, if you have high school students who are looking for a Virginia school, I do have some brochures for Mary Baldwin. If you have students who are going to James Madison, make sure that you connect them, because that's close enough to get them to us or Bridgewater. But if they're interested in Mary Baldwin, I do have some materials for you up here as well. Okay. And if you come, if you bring them to the campus, or if they're coming to campus, make sure they connect with my office. I have a cohort program for African American women and African American men, one called the Out of the Wells Living Learning Community, one called the Persist Program, where I meet with those students every single week to make sure that they stay in school. Because you just don't throw them out to the deep end and say swim, you've got to walk with them. So, you know, if you want to know more about what we do in terms of touching students of color on our campus, and just so you know, you might think that Mary Baldwin is a predominantly white institution. Can I tell you that we're 50% African American? Yeah. And that wasn't an accident, that was intentional. We built it that way. So we have support systems for those students there. We built it that way. When I went to Mary Baldwin 28 years ago, we had less than 2% African American students on campus. We are more than 50% African American. Thank you.
Mike doesn't like me. Amen. Thank you so much, Reverend, for that, Scott, for the presentation. And maybe it works on this side, but amen. Amen. Thank you so much for the presentation. This is a very important presentation to capture our young people and to take care of them as they depart for school from our local churches, and to ensure that they are taken care of while they are away. As we said, this is a connectional church. There is a church somewhere close to that university where they may be matriculated. And so let us do our best to reach out to our friends and colleagues across our connection to ensure that our children have someone to make them feel like home.